was a hoax. It was a hoax. We spent millions and millions of tax dollars on this. And the sick thing about it is the media knew about it. The powers that be in Washington knew about it. The 51 signers of the intel letter saying that the laptop was Russian disinformation. They all knew this, Katrina. And I'm going to tell you, you can say what you want about the two events that happened yesterday, but the people know that the system is rigged against one candidate and one party and for the other. And honestly, we're getting to the point where the evidence is so overwhelming, we're not going to just debate this anymore. We're going to fight over it, not physically, but we are girded for a war of ideologies with those who would take our freedom away and our representation.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and I think what the extreme, the liberals haven't realized, Americans aren't stupid. I think they're so out of touch at this point, and they're so stuck in their own elite echo chamber where they just keep repeating the things that they believe and they want to hear, that they have completely lost touch with American people. And they also forget they only have their jobs because the American people have hired them. And I think that's where we have a real problem here. And because they are seeking such absolute power and clearly will do anything they can to maintain that power, that's where I feel that our democracy is in danger. And of course, at the drop of a hat, they say, oh, these MAGA extremists and the Republicans are a threat to democracy. No, actually, it's the other way around. And it seems like they, again, continue to think that Americans are dumb. And to your point, Rob, no, we're going to be at a serious ideological tipping point, so to speak, where something has to happen, and it's getting more and more dangerous and more scary. Americans don't want to be socialists, but that's the direction this administration and the liberals are trying to push us. And it is so evident from what's going on in our schools, to the border, to even, as you mentioned, what's going on in Ukraine. It's not about protecting Americans. It's not even about protecting or helping Ukraine be free from a tyrannical Russia. It is really all about self-interest at this point. And again, that's when it gets dangerous.
It is a bizarre time, and I don't believe any of this is organic. For instance, the radical LGBTQ movement, which has hijacked all the good work of the gay rights movement. And honestly, you as a woman, I would assume, I'm not sure exactly why women were so afraid and so tepid originally to speak out loudly about transgendered athletes competing against them, or women replacing them as Woman of the Year by men who've been women supposedly for a year or two. What are your thoughts about that as someone who is as a woman? With the assault on women in this country, which I would consider as bad as a Taliban attack, to be quite honest, when you look at what it's doing to women.
As an excellent point here. I mean, especially, women have fought for so long to be considered equal, to have equal opportunity, equal pay, equal all of those things. Some women will say we're not there yet, but then we're going almost backward. And to me, it comes down to biology. I don't care what your pronouns are. I don't care how you identify. I don't care who you marry, what you do in the bedroom. I really don't care. But what I don't think is fair is when you simply ignore the science. To me, biologically, how you were born, that's what you are, period. Like, there should be no further discussion. And the fact that we're seeing, teachers fired and female athletes, accomplished female athletes, canceled and attacked and vilified for simply stating something that is practical and scientifically true, like Riley Gaines, for example, that biological males simply shouldn't be competing against biological females. That's really the only way it should be described, not a trans man, a trans woman. Who cares? What are you biologically? That is the lane you get in if you want to compete in sports. Period.
You know, the other thing is that to add insult to injury, the reason why they're going after women is the same reason the left goes after Christians, because they know that they can get away with it. They feel like you are weaker. I'm just going to tell you, that's the reason why, Katrina. They feel like women are weaker. That's what this is. Of course it is. They feel like they can get away with it.
I hadn't thought about it that way.
They wouldn't do it to a man. You know why? Hold on, let me finish my thought. Katrina, hold on, let me finish my thought. They wouldn't do this to a man in a locker room because they get their faces punched in.
Yeah.
They do it to women because they think women are weak. They do the same thing. They would never consider burning a Koran in a public circle because they know they would ignite the world. But they do it to Christians because they think they're weak. And I think everybody who's been on the receiving end of this nonsense from the left is ready to fight against it. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No.